Have you ever noticed how your mind keeps running even when you want it to stop? You lie down on the bed, close your eyes, and suddenly hundreds of thoughts start rushing in. Something you said 5 years ago. Something someone told you yesterday. Something you have to do tomorrow. And without realizing it, you're lost inside your own head, playing old memories, regrets, fears, and what-ifs on repeat. That's what overthinking does to us. It keeps our brain busy, but it doesn't really solve anything. The truth is, overthinking is not something we do on purpose. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, "Today, I'm going to sit and stress myself by thinking too much." It just happens. Our mind is like a machine. Once it starts spinning, it doesn't know how to stop. But if we let it continue, it slowly drains our energy, kills our focus, and even affects our sleep. That's why understanding overthinking is the first step to controlling it. Most of the time, we overthink because we fear something. We're worried about making mistakes, about the future, about what people will think, or about things that have already happened in the past. But here's the secret: 90% of the things we worry about never actually happen. Our mind loves creating problems that don't exist. It shows us hundreds of possible bad scenarios, but in reality, only a few of them come true. And even if something goes wrong, we are usually stronger than we think. Think about it: how many times have you panicked about something small, only to realize later that it wasn't such a big deal? Maybe it was an exam, a meeting, a conversation, or a mistake. You spent hours or even days stressing about it, but when it finally happened, you handled it. That's because reality is often much simpler than the stories our mind creates. Overthinking just makes the problem look 10 times bigger than it actually is. Another reason we overthink is because we replay the past too much. We lie down and think, "Why did I say that? Why did they do that? What if I had chosen differently?" But the truth is, no amount of thinking can change what's already happened. The past cannot be fixed, it can only teach us. If we keep digging into old memories, we get stuck in a cycle that doesn't help us grow. Instead, we must remind ourselves, the only thing we can control is what we do next. And sometimes, overthinking is not about the past, but about the future. We start worrying about what will happen tomorrow, next week, or even years from now. But the future hasn't happened yet. Worrying about it today doesn't make it better, it just steals your peace. The best way to stop this is to bring your focus back to the present moment. Ask yourself, what can I do right now that will make things better? Acting today always beats worrying about tomorrow. One powerful way to calm your mind is through deep breathing. Whenever you feel stuck in a spiral of overthinking, stop for a moment. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in, hold it for a second, and slowly breathe out. Repeat this 3 to 5 times. It sounds simple, but it works because it brings your focus back to your body and away from your racing thoughts. In that moment, you're teaching your mind to slow down. Another trick is writing your thoughts down. When your head feels heavy with too many worries, put them on paper. It doesn't need to make sense, it doesn't need to be perfect, just right. The moment you see your thoughts outside your head, they feel smaller and easier to handle. This is something successful people do all the time because it helps them organize their mind instead of drowning in it. And here's something important to remember: overthinking usually gets worse when we're doing nothing. That's why keeping yourself engaged in small, positive actions helps a lot. Go for a walk. Call a friend. Read a book. Cook something. Exercise. Do anything that keeps your mind busy in a healthy way. Do nothing, the more your thoughts take control. Action breaks the cycle of overthinking. But don't be hard on yourself. If you're an overthinker, it doesn't mean you're weak or broken. It just means your mind is trying to protect you by preparing for every possible outcome. That's actually a strength, but only when we learn to control it instead of letting it control us. Whenever you catch yourself overthinking, pause and ask, is this helping me or hurting me? If it's not helping, shift your focus to something that does. Remember, your thoughts are not always true. Just because your mind creates a scary story doesn't mean it's real. Thoughts are like clouds in the sky, they pass by if you don't hold on to them. If you let every thought turn into an analysis, your head will feel heavy all the time. But if you practice letting them go, you'll start to feel lighter. At the end of the day, life becomes much easier when we accept one simple truth: we cannot control everything. Mistakes will happen. People will misunderstand us. Plans will fail sometimes. But overthinking doesn't stop any of that, it only makes us more stressed. What we can control is how we respond. And when we respond with calmness, patience, and clarity, we handle life much better. So, the next time you catch yourself overthinking, remember this: take a deep breath, come back to the present, and focus on what you can control right now. Every time you do this, your mind becomes a little stronger, and over time, you'll notice you're calmer, happier, and more focused. You are not your thoughts. You are the person who decides what to do with them. And once you learn this, overthinking loses its power. Life feels lighter. Your mind feels freer. And you finally have the space to enjoy the moment you are living in. Remember this one thing. Don't believe everything you think. Not every thought is true. When you learn to let go of unnecessary thoughts, your mind becomes lighter, calmer. Before we wrap up today's episode, let's take a moment to learn some useful English words from this episode. These are words and phrases that can help you speak more naturally and express yourself better in English. I'll also give you examples so you know exactly how to use them in real life. Ready? Let's go. 1. Rushing. Moving or acting very quickly, often without thinking. Example: she was always rushing through her work and making mistakes. 2. Spiral. A situation that keeps getting worse and harder to control. Example: his worries went into a spiral, and he couldn't sleep. 3. Drain. To make someone very tired or use up their energy. Example: overthinking all day can drain your mental energy. 4. Replay. To think about or imagine past events again. Example: she kept replaying the argument in her head. 5. Scenario. A possible situation or sequence of events. Example: our mind creates hundreds of worst-case scenarios. 6. Focus. Concentrating your attention on something important. Example: meditation helps improve your focus. 7. Calmness. The state of being relaxed and not worried. Example: responding with calmness helps you think clearly. 8. Clarity. The quality of being clear and easy to understand. Example: taking a deep breath can give you clarity in stressful moments. 9. Perspective. A way of thinking about or understanding something. Example: overthinking often makes us lose perspective on reality. 10. Freedom. The state of being free from mental stress or worry. Example: letting go of unnecessary thoughts gives your mind freedom. If today's episode helped you even a little, don't forget to like this podcast and subscribe to Learning with John for more life-changing tips and easy English learning. And if you know someone who overthinks a lot, share this episode with them too, maybe it will make their day better. Thank you for listening, take a deep breath, smile, and remember, less thinking, more living.